What is your relationship with libraries?
Oh man, libraries. Well, I mean, growing up on the res, we didn't have access to buying books or to bookstores. In fact, I can't remember being in a bookstore the first time I was ever in a bookstore, but I can certainly remember the first time I was in a library, and that was in the reservation. And it was small. It was a small room. I think there were four shelves. They were tall, but the mix of books was interesting too, because we didn't get new stuff. No. So it was a, you know, even in the late 1960s and early 1970s, it was a library made out of the early 20th century. So there were a lot of classics, and also because of vocational education is what reservation Indians had pretty much access to, was the idea that we were going to be vocationally educated, but not necessarily, you know, university bound. There were a lot of auto repair manuals. There were a lot of repair manuals for various equipment that didn't even exist anymore. Mm-hmm. I mean, I imagine there was probably like steam engine repair manuals. So, and I read everything. Eventually, I read the entire library, everything I could get my hands on. There were encyclopedia sets from the 1919, which were useless in terms of current information, but were amazing historically. Mm-hmm. So libraries were my first way of thinking about the outside world, of even beginning to conceptualize the existence of an outside world. And not just outside the reservation, but outside all the expectations the world had for somebody like me. Libraries taught me how to dream. And that's still the way I feel about libraries. And it's very interesting to me in this era of technology and ebooks. And I was one of the Chicken Littles who thought ebooks meant the end of the physical book, the physical library, the physical bookstore. I was one of the Chicken Littles. I was running around screaming like the world was ending, like it was literary apocalypse. And it turns out not even to be remotely the case. I recently went to the Amazon bookstore here in Seattle, you know, this revolutionary store. And really, it was a B. Dalton's in any shopping mall circa 1992. And I was walking around thinking, this is the revolution? That you want to be B. Dalton's? And ebook sales have plateaued, in some cases declined, all over the world. And independent bookstores more open last year than in many, many years, and sales are up for independent bookstores. Library patronage has not diminished at all. In fact, it has increased. So I think the fact remains is that this object remains one of the most sacred human creations. That each of these objects contains a world. And so when you think about a library with all these worlds, I mean, you're talking about a universe of ideas. And that's so exciting to me. And the fact that so many libraries have been turned into temples too, like this library, which is this weird, beautiful, off-putting, crazy, strange, wonderful place. And there's all sorts of libraries like this in Seattle, which are eccentric and weird, and Tacoma's libraries, and from the little libraries, you know, in the neighborhood, you know, made out of brick that have been there 100 years, to the new constructions with, you know, grass roofs. You know, I think the fact that we have them and we invented them and we created them and still love them and nurture them is the surest sign that human beings are going to be okay. You know, as long as there are libraries, I'm going to continue to believe in human beings. You know, the second we stop having libraries, if that ever occurs, then I'm just giving up on us completely.